Yeah, good afternoon, every one of you. In the last classes, we have seen this one, what is relationship we define, and then how to build a relationship. We have just seen some of the points, and then finally we concluded that a family that is knit in love is good for the society. Okay, not only for your relationship, but who are knit with each other. A love bond is there in between your relationship. It is also good for the society. This was the conclusion in the earlier class. Then today we will see the values. So values which are required, why these values are required, not only in relationship with others, but whatever we consider our close relationship or our near and dears, for everybody this type of values are very much helpful. Why? Because everybody has their own duty to do, whether it may be a relationship or whether it may not be a relationship, whether it is for a society or whether it is for your personal relationship. Nothing matters, but everything comes with its own duties, with its own responsibilities, okay, with its own values. Nothing is granted in this world. So like the relationship also applies, nothing is granted in the relationship also. So if you want a good friendship or a good relationship, you want to be mutually affirmate you, okay, you should accept each other, you should give freedom to each other. So like that, there are many values out there. We can discuss on this one. The first value is dutifulness. So what is this dutifulness? So dutifulness can be the obedience, because nothing comes for the granted in this world. So the relationship also applies the same thing. When you have a relationship, you will take this for granted, okay, rather than performing your own duty. You will say, you will neglect, okay, you will become lazy. Okay, that person will do, my servant will do, or my mother will do, why I have to do this one? Okay, why I have to purchase grocery? Like this, you will just neglect your duties. Whenever you are not performing your duties perfectly, your relationship is about to spoil. Okay, you are only the responsible person who is spoiling your relationship. If you perform your duty correctly, then the relationship will be a mutually affirmative one. So if it mutually affirmative one, then everybody loves to be in a relationship with you. So you should perform your duty. That too, your duty you need to perform in a responsible manner, without any fear. Okay, without any what we say this one, without any fear of punishment, or without any fear of any hurt, without any fear of injury. Like this, you have to perform wholeheartedly. That's duty also. So because due to the sake of your friendship, or because due to your sake of your relationship, you have to perform your duty, not because of any fear. Okay, out of fear you should not perform any duty in the relationship. Only due to your friendship, due to your love affection for them, you have to perform a duty. Then once again, no duty can be performed with the expectation of some reward. Okay, rather than expecting something from that relationship or something from that person, you should perform your duty. So this is dutifulness. Dutifulness means you have to perform your duties. Okay, that is bonded by your relationship, bounded by your relationship, so that you need to perform that duty without any fear. Okay, without any fear of loss, without any expectation of reward or something. Like that, you have to perform your duty. Then next one is the patience. So you should be patient in relationship. Whenever there is some conflict, or there is something in your relationship, it is not at all going good. So if you are being patient, if you are just allowing the situation to pass upon, so that type of attitude, that type of patience, you are required. That type of calmness, that type of peace, it is required in the relationship. Every time you need to be tolerant. Okay, everybody has their individuality, everybody has their weaknesses and a strong point. So when somebody is just having a fault, somebody is doing a fault, or somebody is doing which you don't like, then you have to be patient in that relationship. You should not immediately show a finger on them that you have performed this one, this fault you have done. Okay, this type of activity you have done, that's not like me. You have to discuss. Rather than arguing with them, you have to discuss that this you don't like in them. Like that, so that type of attitude is called a patient attitude, or a peaceful manner. You have to solve that one. So that is a patience. Patience is must and should in every relationship. This is going to hold you your relationship for the long time. Okay, patience only defines the relationship, which can last for the long time or the short time. If you don't have a patience, if you are losing your temper immediately, so that type of relationships are at the verge of instability, at the verge of collapsing. So everything, patience is very much important. Then next one is a courtesy. So what is this courtesy? Sorry, 1 second. Whenever courtesy, next one is whenever you are in relationship, you should show some courtesy to others. Okay, this courtesy only defines your interpersonal relationship. Whatever the relationship will be there, you have to show a good gestures, you have to show some caring. So that is called as a courtesy. Okay, you should show some caring, then only they will give you a positive gesture, then only your loyalty, that shows your loyalty towards them, that shows your concern towards them. Whenever you show some concern towards them, so your courteous nature will help you to create a long lasting bond with that relationship. Then the next one is a magnanimity. So what is this magnanimity? So magnanimity is nothing but whenever somebody has just injured you, somebody has just hurt you, somebody insulted you. Okay, this without forgiving you cannot move in that relationship. But many people, what they will do without forgiving, just they will be mingled with that relationship and they are just going upon. When some that person who is injured, who has been hurt, that person wants some help, rather than performing that help, they will just immediately turn their back. So that type of attitude we need not to be there in the relationship. So magnanimity defines the attitude, your large hearted attitude. Whenever they hurt also, you will forgive them, and immediately you will go to the rescue of them whenever they needs help, rather than you just show your back, you just help them. So that type of attitude, you are not at all vindictive attitude. Okay, when you doesn't possess the vindictive attitude, whenever somebody hurt you or somebody injured you also, when they needs you, you will immediately go to their rescue. So that type of attitude is called as a magnanimity. So this type of attitude you need to possess, this type of value you need to possess into yourself. Then the next one is loyalty. So what is this loyalty? So you have to remain true in your relationship, whatever it may be. You have your own weaknesses, you have your own strengths, you have you have the your relatives own strengths and weaknesses. Rather than just concentrating on those weaknesses, so you should be loyal, you should remain truthful. Okay, that truthful nature is defined your relationship to a long lasting one or not. This loyalty, you have to keep some secrets. Okay, whenever somebody is saying in relationship, saying something to you which you have to keep as a secret, or which you don't have to gossip them. So many people will not have a loyalty in the relationship. Nowadays every relationship will suffers due to the shortfallings or limitations called as a loyalty. If you are not loyal, you are just manipulating that relationship. So you will be called as a manipulator. So you should not be a manipulator, you should find a truth. So if you want a truth, then you should be loyal in your relationship. The next one is a gratitude. So as I said you, gratitude, whatever the relationship, okay, whatever the things which we are receiving now, okay, at this point of time, everything due to the gratitudeous nature, due to the almighty which has blessed upon us. So for every blessing you have to show gratitude to them, we have to thank. Okay, we need not to take anybody for the granted. Whatever the mother, okay, your mother is just giving you a meal, okay, giving you breakfast and everything she is providing, you should be gratitude, you should be thankful. Okay, many people will think that she's my mother, her duty is this one, provide she needs to provide meal, she need to give a breakfast, she need to give a bath, something like this we will think that one. No, nothing will be coming for the gratitude, coming from the granted. Only to the gratitudeous nature only you can you can take your relationship to the next level. So rather than taking that you are that mm, this is my mother, she should perform this duty, why should I show some thankful nature to her, or she is my sister, she is my he is my brother. Okay, rather than thinking in that way, you should show some gratitude, you should be thankful in every relationship, irrespective of how close that relationship, how far that relationship is, every time you need to be gratitude. So that type of gratitude attitude is very much needed in this one, any relationship. So the values which are carried forward in every relationship is dutifulness, patience, courtesy, magnanimity, loyalty, and gratitude. Okay, so these things, if these values are there inside you, you are most eligible to form a relationship with others. Okay, if these things are not at all there, you are at verge of spoiling the natural relationship. By nature, some relationship which has come to existence, like a parents, siblings, these are the by nature, they are god given relationship. If you are not valuing that relationship, if you are not having this type of values, you are about to spoil your relationship. Okay, you should possess this type of values inside you. Okay, not only for the god given relationships, but also to form this type of values is very much important. Okay, you should remember that. Which they should, out of the loyalty only, they would have shared with you. So you should uphold that secrets. Okay, loyalty between parents, between example is loyalty between teacher and students. So this is the loyalty. That loyalty is going to define the relationship, type of relationship that is. Gratitude is okay. Nothing comes with the granted. You should show gratitude irrespective of how close the relationship is. That one. So you must be emotionally and mentally free in a relationship. So everybody has their own freedom. Okay, when you are relationship, you will consider that somebody else's freedom is also yours freedom. Okay, somebody else's limitations is also your limitation. It should not be like that. They have their own freedom, you have your own freedom. Okay, only the common point which is connecting is the relationship. When you are within that relationship, you should mutually be affirmative, you should mutually be enjoy that freedom. Rather than being that one, many people will just limit the freedom of others, each others. So that type of relationships are going to be spoiled out. So this type of duties or these values you have to carry forward for the next generation. Everything you have to carry forward. So how to improve the relationship next? So how we can improve our relationship? Okay, some of the hints are there. First, we need to develop a good communication skills. So what are these good communication skills? Good writing skills, listening skills of something, verbal, oral, everything, gestures, facial gestures, hand gestures, everything we have discussed in the previous unit itself. But out of this, all the communication skills, the what is going to work in a relationship is, this is not a professional relationship that we have to write in a professional approach, that we have to write and we have to verbally talk, but it's an informal one. So in an informal one, you have to develop a attitude that you should listen first. Okay, if you develop this type of attitude, I have to listen first. If you listen carefully, if you show some concern to them, so you are going to have a wonderful relationship in future, wonderful relationship then and then. So if you are not at all listening to them, if you are not at all showing a concern to them, there's you are verge of losing your relationship. So you should develop good communication skills. Out of this all the communication skills, good listening skills you should have. When you listen only, you should show some concern, you should show carefulness uh, to their sufferings. When you know their sufferings, you can show concern to them. So that's the good listening skills you have to develop. Then avoid arguments in every relationship, whether it may be a personal, professional, any relationship. You should needs to avoid an argument, because argument is nothing but expression of your interest. Okay, expression of your interest. Whenever you what you say, whenever expression of your temper. Okay, if your temper is very high, okay, you just talk anything to that in that relationship. So if you are in verge of losing that relationship. So arguments are nothing but expression of your temper. Rather than being logical, you will express your temper immediately. Okay, when you get anger means you will say anything. Okay, what, depending on that particular situation, whether it may be positive or negative, you will just scold them like that. That's the argument. Okay, you want to, at any cost, you want to win that argument. Rather than a discussion with each other is nothing but expression of your logic. Okay, rather than logically discuss with each other, you will just argue. Argument is your temper. Okay, rather than expressing your temper, you should express your um, discussion. You should express your logic. You should express your views. Then only you can win the relationship rather than win an argument. If you are arguing, if you are showing your temper, if you are showing your bossiness, so that's going to collapse your relationship. So every time you have to avoid argument. Argument is nothing but expression of your temper. Okay, discussion is nothing but expression of your logic, your beliefs, your views. Okay, in a polite manner, you have to convince them. You have to discuss with them rather than going for the discussion. You are going to the argument, which is expression of your temper. Then and then you are going to lose your relationship for sure. So you should avoid arguments. Then develop a sense of humor. So in this world, so if you have a good sense of humor, so okay, even the poisonous words, even the words which are going to hurt the other person also, you can convey them. You can convey them in a positive manner if you have a good sense of humor. If you don't have a good sense of humor, if you talk a positive words to the others also, they will receive that as a bad word. So if you have a good sense of humor, they are going to receive the negative words also as your positive words. So sense of humor, you should have a sense of humor. So how to have this good sense of humor, how to develop your personal sense of humor. So look for humor in anything. Okay, rather than being very much serious, you should develop some laughter in among the relationship, among the audience. Okay, you should develop that laughter. So how should you develop? First, look for that one. Look for humor for everything. In a simple word, in a simple manner, you can look for the humor in everything. Then collect humor. Okay, instead of just seriously saying something, you just crack a joke. Okay, crack a joke on yourself or crack a joke on somebody else. So that type of humor, okay, in every big speeches, big political speeches, or big conferences, this is going to help a speaker a lot, because immediately when they are into the dais, they will just want to create a sense of humor and to humorous create a humorous environment there. Then only participants will have a motivation to listen to him. When he creates a humor into the audience, then that audience will automatically be motivated. So you can try on this one. If you have a good sense of humor, so everybody is going to listen to you. So whatever the negative words, whatever the words, serious words you are telling to them, so in a polite manner, in a light manner, you can convey to them. So that type of attitude is called a sense of humor. You should develop a good sense of humor into you. Then the next one is develop good principles. So what is these principles which are going to have a good relationship, which are going to be based on your relationship, like a confidentiality and trust. Okay, these are very much interchangeably they are used. So confidentiality, whenever somebody is trusting you, then only they can uh, tell their story, their confidential story to you. Rather than you are just holding the story within you, you'll just gossip that one. So that type of attitude is not at all required. So that type of principles are not at all required. You should withhold the confidentiality in your relationship. Okay, confidentiality and trust. Whenever somebody is trusting you only, rather than going for gossiping about that person, gossiping about their sufferings, you just have to withhold that secrets into you. Then only you can win the trust and confidentiality of others. Then only they will move very close to you. Then next one is a positive regard. So what is this positive regard? So positive regard is nothing but everything you have to relate positively. So okay, we are the emotional beings. Okay, human beings are the emotional beings. So you should value fellow human beings also. So how should you value that one? By showing some grace, by showing some respect to others. So that type of attitude, if you are positive, if you have a positive regard for other person, rather than just criticizing them, rather than just using the argument, just winning the argument based on their weaknesses. If you have a positive regard, that is not only going to help your relationship, but also it is going to help you as a personally, because this type of positive regard will obviously increase your self-worth. Okay, self-worth, it will be increased, self-respect, it will be increased, and self-esteem also it will be increased. If these three, self-worth, self-respect, and self-esteem is increased, obviously you are going to win your race, you are going to win your relationship. So positive regard is nothing but you have to respect your fellow being, you have to show some grace to the fellow human beings. Then you are regarded as a positive person. You have a positive regard. It is not only going to help a relationship, your relationship, but also it is going to help you personally, very personally. Like it will increase your self-worth, it will increase your self-respect, and as well as it will increase your self-esteem. So then next one is a not judgmental. So what is this non-judgment? Rather than taking some hasty judgments, okay? If you are undergoing some situation, if you are just discussing something, just arguing with some people, rather than taking an hasty judgment that this person is like this person is this type of person, rather than judging then and then, you should be neutral. You should observe some positivity into that one. So you should, in any type of argument, in any type of situation, in any type of relationship, rather than taking a baseless or a hasty judgments, you should be neutral. So that is non-judgmental attitude you should possess. So you have to improve your relationship. Whenever you have a blessing, then only the relationships are going to come on your way. So every relationship is a blessing for us. You have to accept like that. Every relationship, that's a positive attitude. Whenever relationships are there, you have to nurture them every day. Every second you have to nurture them, rather than taking for granted, rather than being not performing any duty. So rather than neglecting the duties which needs to be performed in the relationship, you need to you need to nurture your relationship every time. How to nurture that relationship, how to improve that relationship? By developing a good communication skills, that is listening, good listening. Then you have to avoid the argument, because arguments are just an expression of temperance. Rather than arguing, if you are not liking something, you should discuss that thing. Discussion is nothing but keeping your logic, okay, expression of your logic, expression of your belief, expression of your values in a polite manner. So you should avoid arguments or temper. Then develop a good sense of humor. If sense of humor is very good, you can convey a negative word also with a polite manner in a positive sense. If you are not having a good sense of humor, your facial expression itself, they will convey the good message also in a bad way. So you should have a good sense of humor. Then develop good principles like a confidentiality. You should withhold the confidentiality. You should trust. You should withhold the trust inside the relationship. So confidentiality is an important aspect of the trust in a relationship. So to gain a trust, you should withhold the confidentiality. Then confidentiality and trust and positive regard. You have to show some regard to the fellow human beings. You have to show some value, some grace, some respect to the fellow human being. That is going to help in a relationship, as well as your personal worth and personal respect and personal esteem, self-esteem also, it is going to increase. Then not judgmental. Rather than taking a hasty judgments and a baseless decisions, you just be non-judgment, nothing but a neutral characteristics you should possess. So these are the techniques which we have to adopt in order to improve our relationship, in order to nurture our relationship day by day. So every relationship, nothing comes for granted. You have to nurture everything. So to nurture them, you have to carry some values, and you have to imbibe some of the activities, some of the good principles. You have to adopt some of the good values, some of the good skills, and some of the good principles. Then only that relationship is going to long lasting. Relationship is going to be stay a long lasting in our uh, life, throughout the life. So this is about relationship. Okay. Then the next one is the next part, which is about the management. Okay. Every time we have to manage many time management, stress management, emotional management, conflict management. Then comes this team management. All this management we have to see. So time management. First one, we will see what is time management. So we are human beings. We have to carry, we have to learn from our past. We have to carry our future. We have to see our future. Okay, we have to be long sighted. Okay, we have to be long sighted. We have to live in our present. Okay, we have to learn from our past. We have to stay in our present. We have to be long sighted for our future. So this is our approach, rather than other animals which are living in this on this earth. So they don't have their past. Okay, they do not need not consider their past, because they can immediately live in their present. But we as a human being, we have our past. From that past only we are going to learn many things. So that things we have to carry with her. We have to adopt in our present situation. Then depending on this present only, we have a future. So if For example, if you are not, why you are studying the 3 years degree or something, a BTech or BSc, why you are studying? For the better future only. Okay, future only you are studying, you are investing now your time, your money, everything to nurture your knowledge, to nurture your skills, you are just investing in them. So that shows that we are human, we already have a past, we already have a present, we have a future also. So because of this, we have to manage our time in a very optimal manner. So to manage our time, so there are many ways of time management. So how can we manage our time? So first is at the level one, we have to list out our all the activities day to day life, what we are performing. Morning we are waking up at this time, okay, then we are brushing, we are bathing, something for how many minutes each and every activity you are taking. You have to list out first what are the activities that you are doing every day. So if you are doing this many attitudes, once you list out, you can find out that what are the activities which are not at all required for to satisfy your immediate goal. So if you sort out that one, if you prioritize based on this sorting out of the list, then you can prioritize this. Yes, this is required. This is very much necessary. This action is not at all required. This activity is not at all required. This activity is immediately required. If you prioritize your activities, there is a possibility that within 24 hours you can finish out that immediate task. Okay, rather than going and wasting your time on something else. If you prioritize, if you list out your activities, if you prioritize your list, then there is a maximum likelihood that you can complete the task within a no time. So that's the advantage of this time management. Time management is nothing to do about the calendar. Okay, if you are carrying your calendar in your cell phone or even in your pocket, there is nothing use in that one. So days are going, time, seconds, minutes, okay, hours, it is going like that. Without our interference, they are moving. Okay, time is moving. Time, so there are some rules. So that rules are at level one. You have to adopt. You have to just list out all the activities which you are doing in your day-to-day life. Because all the activities, if you are performing on a daily basis, that is called as your habits. So okay, if you are adopting a wrong, if you are doing a wrong activities or a negative activities on a daily basis, you are motivated towards the wrong habits. Okay, you are to going to adopt a wrong habits into your day-to-day life. So for observance of your activities in your day-to-day life, as well as to manage your time in a priority manner, to complete your task on a priority basis, you have to make a list. If you make a list, what are the unnecessary activities, you can just cancel out from the list. If every activity you find it is very much useful, then out of this one, what is useful, what is unuseful, what type of action is immediately needed, what type of action next you can perform, based on that sorting out procedure, that is called as prioritizing. That prioritizing your daily task you have to take at this level 3. Then next you can define at each task. Okay, we have discussed the goal, vision, mission. So okay, what about the principles, what are the objectives you have to carry forward? For every task there is some motivation. For every task there is some vision. For every task there is some mission. So for every task, these qualities, this everything are there. You should remember that one. Even to perform our day-to-day life activities also, there is some motivation. There is some motivation, like we have to improve our health, we have to have some energy. Why we are eating? We have to have enough energy in order to survive the day by day activities. Like that, we have a mission, we have a vision how to eat that one. Okay, we have to eat a balanced diet. Why we are using we are eating a balanced diet? Because when you eat a balanced diet only, uh, we can have a good energy, as well as we can complete the task within no time. Otherwise, if you are taking excess of the balanced diet, what happens? The excess fat will be accumulating. So balanced diet you're taking means you have a vision. That mission is taking a balanced diet only. So you should possess at level 4, you should possess what are the mission, vision, and roles and principles which you are going to carry forward. Next, if you consider some of the tasks which are not at all required, you can just eliminate that one. Then recurring a task. So how can you recur that task? So whenever I just said you, if you perform a task on a daily basis, that will have a habit that will be considered as your day-to-day life habits. So that habit, if you are going in a negative direction, you are about to adopt a negative habits. So recurring task, you have to prioritize, you have to recur that one, then only you can build a good habits into you. So for prioritizing this one, there are many tips on that to manage your time. So first you have to set goal. So in the previous session, we have seen how to set the goals. What are the goal? Then prioritize wisely. So it can apply rather than only for the single goal for a single day or for half day, for an hour, for an half an hour also you can apply this type of tips. Okay, in 1 hour, for example, in 1 hour, you are doing a 10 activities. Out of this 10 activities, which activity needs to become first? Like that, you have to prioritize. Why? Because if you see, there are three. Okay, there are three materials. One is a pebble. Next one is a sand. Third one is a water. Okay, if you pour a water, okay, if you pour a water first, it will occupy entire glass. Okay, how much you have to pour this water? Okay, volume according to the volume of that glass. If you pour a sand first, what happens? Sand will be occupying. Next, if you want to pour water into this glass, what happens? That water will not be inside that sand. Some part will be absorbed and some part will be just overflow. If you have a pebble, okay, first if you drop a pebble, then what happens? That big pebbles will be of a large size. Okay, that will, for example, consider the pebble is your priority work. If is in your first priority work. If you drop a pebble into the glass, what happens? That task, that immediate or important task will be occupied first. And after that, the pebble, the space which is left inside that each pebble, okay, that cross-sectional area or the space which is left. If you fill that space with some sand, what happens? That sand is nothing but your small task, which is required, but not that much priority basis than the first pebble type of task. So next you can pour some of the sand into it. Then the third one, if you consider very least prioritized task, like a water. Okay, if you pour, then after filling the pebble, after filling the sand, then you pour a water. So there is a possibility that some water will be staying inside that glass. If unprioritized work like a water, if you pour inside the first water, if you poured inside that glass, what happens? Large amount of unprioritized work will be just occupying your overall time. So you have to prioritize. That's a technique you have to use. What is prioritized work, what is non-prioritized work, what is important, what's immediately important. Like this, you have to sort it out. That sorting attitude, you can use even priority list. So that is prioritize wisely. Then set a time limit for every task. For every task, you have to set a time limit. Within that time only, you have to complete the task. Then take breaks between tasks. So it will just inculcate a positive habit into you. So if you take a break inside that one, for example, in the reading also, you don't have to sit for more than 1 hour. For 1 hour you have to take some break. Then only that entire whatever you learned in that 1 hour, it will be going to your subconscious mind. So that will be creating some storage capacity, rather than if you are sitting for 24 hours and studying for your subject, that is not going to help you. For every 1 hour, brains needs to be some rejuvenation. Okay, some recreation, it needs to be, brain needs that one. So for every 1 hour, you have to take break in your reading also. That's a priority basis, you have to do that one. Then you have to take, in every task you have to take some breaks. Then organize yourself. Okay, immediately after taking break, you have to organize yourself, you have to come back once again, do the same. Wherever you stop with that one, you have to do that one. Then remove non-essential tasks. Whatever the non-essential tasks are there which are not at all required, you have to remove them. Then plan ahead. So if you prioritize your task, you have a plan ready in your hand, you can do that work first. So like this, you can manage your time. Then priorities, how can in this type of table, you can prioritize your priorities, your goals, everything you can prioritize. So first one, if you see this here, important task. Out of this important task also, whether that is urgent or not urgent. If that are urgent, you can keep on your priority task. If it is not urgent, you can just rank them accordingly. Okay, you have to rank them accordingly. The urgent task which will be coming first and not urgent task which will be coming to the later stage. Then among the important and non-important task, okay, like if you see some interruptions will be there, visiting unnecessarily, some friend is visiting to us unnecessarily, some relatives are coming, and just by gossiping you are wasting your time. So you have to neglect this type of interruptions. And trivia also you can neglect, like email calls, WhatsApp, unnecessary WhatsApp, Facebook, time wasters, emails. Okay, rather than you can assign some time for this type of recreation habits also, but that time needs, you need to use them on a priority basis. If it is not at all your priority, you have to neglect that one. Phone calls also you have to neglect that one. First you have to prepare a table in which the important task, in out of this important task also there is urgency basis. On a urgency basis you have to create the task which are very much, the task which are not at all important, not urgent, not very urgent, you have to perform. Then out of the important task and non-important task, whatever the non-important tasks are there, you have to separate it out. You separate non-important task also, it may be required at some point in time. If that is required, you can place it in a urgent basis. So first priority you have to give for the important cases, important task. Out of this important also, some urgent task you have to allot a first rank. Depending on that rank only, next task will be coming, like a non-urgent task next. Then out of the non-important one, then interruptions will be coming to the next, and last one will be the trivia activities like phone calls, emails, and time wasters. All this will be coming into the last priority. Like this basis you have to prepare your own chart. Nobody is going to suggest you something like this, so you have to do perform or your own task. You have to perform your own priorities. What are your priorities? You can better you will be a better person to identify your priorities. You can identify your own activities based on that one. First one, after listing out your activities, whatever the activities you found that it is going to harm you in the future or in the present also, you have to just eliminate them. So elimination of the priority, the elimination of the activity. If you eliminate the activity, then that activity you need not to carry in the future. If you are carrying the same activity, negative activity in future also, that is known as habit. You are in a verge of developing a negative habit. So in order to separate it out, you have to prioritize. You have to just list out your task. After listing out, non-prioritized task will be just eliminated from the list. After that one, prioritize the task. What is important? Out of important also, if that is urgent, you have to keep. You have to rank accordingly. The first rank you have to give. The next one will be non-urgent task among the important. Then next third rank you have to assign the not important ones, but they are required on an urgent basis. Okay, that will be a third rank. Then the next one is the last, which is very least. That is a trivia like activities, which are time wasters. Then the next one is the stress management. So what is the stress? So what is stress? How can we develop this type of stresses? Okay, stress due to the pressure, due to the pressure of performing in the exam, due to the pressure from the parents, due to the pressure from the teachers, due to the pressure from our own goals. Like this, stress is coming in our way. Okay, stress is nothing but, if for example, if you are carrying 20 liters water bottle on your just shoulder, okay, you are holding that 20 liters water bottle on your shoulder for some time. So you will feel somewhat stressed on your shoulder, okay, on your muscle, on your bone. You have feel some pressure inside that one. Okay, what happens when you carry that bottle for 24 hours? What happens when you carry that bottle same for the 2 days? What happens? You will immediately collapse. Why you are collapsing like that? Because there is some pain in your muscle, there is some pain in your bone. Why? Because the some pressure, that water bottle is acting, showing some pressure on your muscle. Like this, your emotions, okay, your behavior, your attitude, your activities, that are showing the pressure on your brain. Okay, that is called as a stress. That is creating a stress. Stress is nothing but pressure only. When you are showing some physical pressure on your body, that is called as a physical pressure. Then when you are showing some emotional pressure on your body, it is called as a stress. So you have to burst your stress first. So how to burst your stress? There are many techniques are there. stress busting techniques. The first one, meditation you can do. So meditation, but a deep breathing you can take. Then exercise. So you have to attain some movement, stretching like this. You can exercise yourself to remove the stress. Then time in nature, nothing but a spiritual nature. So you have to invest your time in relaxation, sleep well. You have to recharge yourself by sleeping very well. Then connect socially. So friends are the best way. You should have your own social circle. By just spending some time with your social circle, you can feel relaxed, and you have to eat well. So you have to eat well. That eating habits also will create a stress. Stress, if you have a stress, obviously you are going to eat more. If you are going to eat more, you are increasing your fat levels in your body. So stress is also this eating habit, controlling this eating habit also very much important in just limiting your stress list. Then make list, prioritize task. Okay. For example, you are having an exam. You are having an exam in 2 days. So you are not at all completing your syllabus. What happens in these 2 days? You will just take all sort of books, and you will just keep that books in front of you, and you will try to just learn them at one go. Okay, that if you are not prioritizing your task throughout your semester, and at the last 2 days or the last one night you're just sitting to read all the syllabus, then what happens? It is going to put a pressure, which is going to put a performance pressure on your mind. So that is going to create a stress onto you. So you have to make a list. You have to prioritize the task in every day-to-day life. Then only you are going to peacefully give an exam, semester end exams. So like that, you need not to invite stress inside you. By knowingly or unknowingly, you can invite stress inside you. But knowingly, we will, as a students, we will invite stress inside you, inside us. How we can invite stress inside us? Like this. You are just performing the reading habits, performing the reading activity, leading activity, or a writing activity throughout the semester. You will not prioritize that work, and you will end up giving the exam in a very hurry manner. Okay, learning the syllabus in a just one night batting or like that. So that type of pressure will add stress inside you. So every student has to take care of three sets of expectations from excellence in academics. So stress can be coming from your parents, that you have to have a first rank, or that you have to have this type of government job or something. Yeah, the parents will have to give. And teachers obviously will give that everybody have to pass in my subjects. Everybody has to obtain above 90%. Like this, depending on the teacher girl, depending on the girl of the parents, they will set the limitations on you. They will put some pressure on you. That is called as stress. And from your own goal. Remember, if you want to go a PG, within 3 years you have to complete your degree. Then next year you have to go to the PG. What happens? It will create some stress on you. Yes, I have to just finish it off this degree within 3 years. Like this, some stress, you are inviting some stress inside you. So that is also, stress is also required. So there are two types of stresses also there. We are going to discuss this one. So in this sense, for some students, attending college can be stressful because they are forced to deal with many new responsibilities, opportunities, challenges, and decisions. So here, if you are in first year, so what happens? You are studying up to 12th. So up to 12th, the studies will be completely different. So after 12th, the studies will be complete towards a matured way. So studies will be towards a very matured way. So the responsibilities will be increased, the syllabus will be increased, and you will have a new opportunities, like you can join NCC, NSS, you can join any clubs, you can join the dancing club or singing club, something you can join. Like that, there are many opportunities, and at the same time, the challenges are also there. You have to finish it off the semester within the 4 months, and you have to give mid exam, final, weekly, and Viva, all these things, assignments you have to subscribe and decision you're going to that assignment, decision. So they are creating some stress inside you. So you want to access the type of stress inside. Many people, many students will just roam on the roads rather than coming to the college. They will just roam on roads. So they will just avoid their duties. So they are not at all performing their duties. So in that time also, at the last time when semester end exams come means, they will just create some stress. Okay. If you are knowingly or unknowingly, you are inviting stress inside you. If you don't want to invite stress inside you, you have to make a list of the activities. You have to make a goal. You have to perform it in a manner if you think that is good for you. So what is this stress? So stress can be described as a feeling tensed, overwhelmed, or under pressure. So okay, all these are nothing but a stresses only. That is one type of feeling. So that type of feeling which is causing a pressure on you. So that pressure, there are two types of stresses out there. One is the eustress, which is considered as a positive stress. So whenever you are marrying, for example, so what happens? That is also one stress that is going to give some authority and responsibility on you. So that type of stress, that type of positive feeling, which is called as a eustress. So that stress is very much needed in our life. Then next one is a distress. So negative stress. So negative stress. When this is going to come, this negative stress. So if you're in a hurried manner, you are preparing all the syllabus in one night, and you are going to give your exam on the next day. What happens? The stress, distress you are going to invite inside you. So eustress is nothing but a positive stress, and distress is nothing but your negative stress. So eustress, these stresses are only having for a short time. These are not a long time or a long term. Stresses are short term. But distress, when you invite inside you, that distress will create some disasters inside you. That is going to affect you psychologically, mentally. It is going to affect. That will create a long term effect on your health. So that is going to be a long term distress. So positive stress, it is for a short time. So a wonderful feeling or a happy feeling. So excited feeling, that type of feelings you have to invite into you if you have a good relationship. Then in eustress, you will feel excited. So excitement will be there inside you. Then you will feel motivated. It will obviously increase your performance depend due to the motivation. But in the distress, what happens? It will cause anxiety into you. So anxiety to perform. Okay, it will decrease your performance. Then examples of this eustress are nothing but starting a new job or school. Okay, job, going to the new job or going to the new college will be somewhat exciting for us. Okay, so that will also add some stress on us. Then class presentation. Okay, if you are really interested to give a presentation inside your class, then you will feel somewhat happy. Yes, I am going to, today is my day, I'm going to give a presentation. Like this, you will experience a positive stress inside you. Then important sports, games, or performance. While going for the sports which is very important to you, which is very motivating to you, that type of activities will also lead to your eustress. Then other type of activities like a parents getting divorced, or this type of activities, losing a loved one, relationship breakup, serious injury or illness, health hazards, like this, everything is going to lead you to your distress. So distress is not at all required in our life. So what is the source of this type of stresses? So the source is, first one is a pressure. Pressure can be coming from any relationship, right? From the parents, teachers, or from yourself only. Pressure can be coming. Like life changes. Okay, if you are changing your town. Okay, from if you are just coming from village to town, then what happens? You have to adjust the environment. You have to adjust the society which is there immediately in your city. So that type of changes, life changes, also brings lot of stress inside you. You are inviting stress knowingly or unknowingly. So stress is a part of our life. It is happening like that one. So how many types of stresses are there? One is two stresses, we already discussed that one. Then what is this sources? Like first one is the external source. From external to inside it is coming. So what are these stresses? Stress and academic performance. So external stresses are nothing but perform a good performance. I have to obtain a first rank. I have to obtain a distinction. Like this, these are the external stresses coming from the outside, coming from maybe yourself also, your self goals also. Then adolescent physical changes. Okay, in this crisis period, especially this young age, there are many physical changes which are going to happen. That is also unknowingly, that is also leading many types of stresses on us. Okay, we are in young, you are in very young age. In this young age, many types of diversions are there. Okay, many types of activities which are diverting us. So that will also just add some stress on us. Then problems originating out of relationship. Okay, when there is a conflict in a relationship, obviously it is going to lead us towards the stressful environment. So due to the relationship also, we are inviting stress inside us. Then changes and stresses. Okay, there are many changes in our relationship, there are many changes in our habits, in our day-to-day life activities, attitudes. Okay, many persons will going to affect us. Like that, the external factors are going to influence the stress which are coming inside us. Then internal stresses are also there. What are these internal stresses? Like anger. Okay, when you feel when outrage is on somebody else, what happens? You are inviting anger into you. That anger is going to increase your increase your frustration. That will obviously leads to some frustration. That is also one type of internal stressor. Then next one is a guilt. Okay, if you are doing some activity which is illegal according to the law of this country, according to your society, according to your family, if you are doing that thing, so what happens? First time you will feel some guilty. Why I am doing this one without without the knowledge of my parents, without the knowledge of my society. Like this, you will feel a guilt. When that guilt is carrying, you are carrying for the next time the same activity you are performing repeatedly, then it will become a negative habit of you. So that type of guilt also you are inviting. Through that type of guilt also, you are inviting negative stress inside you. Then phobias. Okay, maybe your fear of something, so that fear also creating some phobias inside you. That phobia, through that phobia, you are inviting some stress inside. Okay, the stress is nothing but it is just a feeling of some tensed, overwhelmed, or under pressure. You are just expressing, you are just sensing that feeling. The sense of feeling is nothing but a stress. So there are two types of stress. One is eustress and distress. Eustress is a positive stress, then distress is a negative stress. Negative stress is not at all required in our life. You have to balance these two type of stresses. Stress is very important, but positive stress is very important for our motivation, for our improved performance, and for our achievement. Rather than we are inviting this eustress into us, we are inviting the distress into us. Okay, there are many factors which are influencing for the distress, which are pressure, life changes. Then external factors which are going to affect all the stress and academic performance, adolescent physical changes, problems originating out of relationship changes and stresses. Through these external factors, we are inviting stress inside us. Then internal stresses due to anger, frustration, guilt, phobias, we are inviting a stress inside us. So these are the various sources of the stresses inside us. So how to manage this stress? So management of this stress is unavoidable, because in every stage, in every second, we are expressing some eustress or distress. We are just experiencing. But due to the short term nature of this eustress, we are going to experience distress very much in your life. So how to manage this stress? So management of stress is very much important. If you are not managing your stress very well, so it is going to create a long term psychological as well as physical health effect. Not only the psychological health effect, physical health effects also going to come in your way if you are not managing this one. So how can you manage this one? So throw away the unwanted things you hold. So how can you throw away the unwanted things you hold? For example, unwanted habits also. For example, unwanted things also. How can you throw that one? You have to list out that one. What is wanted, what is unwanted? How can you know? If you listing out that wanted and unwanted things out of that one, if you prioritize that one, then only you coming to know that one, this is required, this is not required. Then if you know this is not required, you have to throw away. Even in the relationship also, if it is creating some negative vibration, you have to throw away that one. So throw away the unwanted things you are holding. So to do that, you have to prioritize, you have to list out all the stress causing objects, stress causing habits, all you have to list out. Then take a time to pray. So you have to take time to pray, because when you are praying with Almighty, okay, whether you are religious or not, you have to meditate, you have to uh, talk with somebody, talk with secrets, that is maybe Almighty. So that is take time to pray. Then reach out to your social circle. So we are social beings. Human beings are nothing but a social beings. So we have all sort of relationship existent. So we have our own social circle, friends, siblings, okay, parents, everybody is there. Okay, depending on your connection with them, depending on your bonding with them, you have to go discuss, we have to chill with them. Then only stress is going out. So that type of social activities, that type of social circle is also very, very much important. Then next one is a get moving. So you have to go away. You have to go and walk in order to burst your stress. You have to go walk. You have to stretch. You have to exercise yourself. So that is going to create lot of that is going to burst your stress to a large extent. Then be grateful for your all the blessings, whatever the relationship you have, whatever the social circle you have, whatever the objective things you have, whatever the physical psychological things, peace, everything you have to be grateful for everything. If your mother is providing you something, if your siblings are providing something, you have to show some gratitude to them. So that is called as be grateful to everything you have, your blessings. The next one is convert negative self-talk to positive self-talk. So what is this negative self-talk and what is this positive self-talk? So for example, if you consider some examination this semester. So for this semester, if you are having the objective that anyhow I have to pass this semester, anyhow I have to obtain the distinction in this semester. So what happens? You are inviting a negative self-talk inside you. So if I didn't pass this semester, I am very much useless. So like this tough statement, with this statement, you're inviting a negative activity inside you, negative talk of you inside you. How? You are just stating a term that I am not, if I didn't pass the semester with this much of marks, I am useless. So rather than just using this type of negative talk only, this is just an exam. If I am going to pass in a distinction, that is going to yield me a fruitful life. If I am not going to pass in this examination, if I am going to obtain somewhat less marks in this examination, that is going to that is not going to destroy my life. Why? Because this examination is not everything in my life. It is just part of my life. Like this, if you consider like this, that is called as a positive self-talk. If you have a positive self-talk into you, then you are going to improve your performance. Then that obviously lead you to the motivation. Who knows? It might lead you towards your target. It might lead you towards your goal. But rather than going in the positive self-talk, if you go for the negative self-talk, like if I didn't pass this examination, I am useless. If I didn't pass this examination, I should end my life. Like this, if you are setting a goal, means you are inviting a negative self-talk inside you. That will destroy you. If you have a capacity to achieve a distinction marks in this semester also, that is this type of negative self-talk is going to drag you downside. It's going to just demotivate you. The demotivation when you invite inside you, that is going to ruin your lives. So you have to convert your negative self-talk towards a positive self-talk. So you have to take a commitment that I will value time and say no to all unwanted things which causes stress. So in order to sort out these wanted and unwanted things, you have to make a list. Then out of that list, you have to prioritize your works based on the urgency basis, based on their importance. Then the non-important things you can eliminate from that one. The wanted things or the important things, out of that also you have to sort it out based on the urgency basis. If that is urgent, you can keep it in the rank one. If that is not urgent, you can keep it in the lower ranks. Then in that priority basis, you can perform your duties, you can perform your activities, your actions will be based on that one. Based on that one only, you can not invite the stress inside you. Then it will automatically did not lead you towards the distress. So in our life, we have to invite lots of eustress inside us rather than going for the distress. So to do that, just take a task, this one, you just perform your priorities, perform your activities, manage your time very well. Then you are not at all inviting a stress inside you. Day to day life activities you have to perform then and then. Okay, there is no future, there is no future date to perform that task. If you are considering that as an important task, you have to perform then and you have to leave that one. So this is a stress management. Then next one is the emotional management. We will see in the later classes. If you have any doubt, you can contact me anytime. Okay, is there any doubt? We are about to complete